Hello and welcome to the very first pregame show of the fifth season of the Batty Overwatch League. Greetings to all new and old. My name is Utech, and with me is the ever sexy, ever lovable Albino Joe. And
Ooh, hello.
and with him is another very special guest, former Batty Overwatch season one, the very first season, everybody, champion, AJS0. How's it going, AJS?
Really good, man. I am super excited to be back. This was a fucking long off season, and I've been ready to play serious Overwatch pretty much since the moment the last season ended. I'm so happy that it's finally here. I don't have to wait anymore.
Yeah,
Hell
same.
yeah. Hell yeah, my dudes. Like, we have an incredible lineup. The teams that have been drafted, of course, we had the draft last week. Very interesting. Nothing. I don't seem too stacked. But I think we should probably go along the teams, just kind of give our highs and lows, see what's going to happen, and give everybody who wasn't there for the draft kind of see who's on what team.
Yeah, first of all, on the docket, we have Walmy Maybe here, Galnir's drafted team, which does not look too bad, actually. He's got a powerhouse of a DPS on his team, and no wonder. But I don't know. AJS, what do you think of the rest of it?
I think he has two powerhouse DPS on his team with No Wonder and Tree. I think that Tree was unfortunate to be on an absolutely atrocious team last season, which was my team, Wiper Superstar 2. Um, I think I would argue that every single player on that roster was worse than league perception other than Tree. And if it weren't for Tree, that team would have easily been last place and dragged that team kicking and screaming to a moderately competitive season. And now he's finally going to be playing with one of the really good DPS in the league, and he's going to get to just kind of sit back and do his thing. I think people are going to be shocked by how much damage he outputs when he's playing projectile DPS, now that he's playing alongside No Wonder. And of the teams, I think this is one of the favorites, actually. Now that I've had a few days to kind of settle in on how the draft has gone, I expect No Wonder and Tree to be one of the best DPS duos in the league. And
One
they've
of.
got,
One
yes,
of.
What?
there's
Yes,
going to be
one
some
of.
very good.
Yes.
There are going to be some very good DPS duos, so that's not enough of a factor. But they just have a bunch of players with a lot of experience on that team, which is one of the big things I look for BOL team success.
Speaking of experience, especially, I know Tree may not have all the in-game knowledge that everyone believes he does, but he does have, as you said before, he has very good raw mechanical skill. And if you look at it, both Sam and No Wonder already being a great DPS, but also Sam being much more involved in league play outside of the Batty Overwatch League. No Wonder has been in open contenders, playing with the team of his own, and same with Sam doing VOD reviews. I believe she plays in another league. Don't quote me on this, Sam, if you're watching, but yeah. Um, and I think with that discipline that comes with the leadership that they have, everyone else, especially Tree, Batmel, Blabour, Scotch, and Phoenix Blaze, they can't go wrong. All they have to do is really listen, learn, and they're all going to be better for it by the end of the season.
Yeah, that listen part too. So something to kind of note. So Wonder, when he's playing Tracer, shot calling can be it could be there, but he's obviously thinking about other things when he's playing DPS like Tracer. But Sam, as you said, experience outside of the BOL in other leagues, also a strong voice to have on your team. But then Batmel as well has been. She took that position on what was that team last season that she was
Tide
on?
Pod Challengers, which
Yeah,
was more of a calling by committee team. Um, and I guess if there's any one concern I have with this team, it is going to actually be who's going to be calling in game. Is I see a bunch of people that I think would halfway step up, but I don't know if I see somebody that takes the reins when the game starts going poorly. And uh, that's one big question this team will have to answer: is can Wonder be that guy full time, or is Sam the girl that can do that? I don't know them as players well enough to say, but of the players I know, I don't think they would have adequate shot calling.
All right, so final words on Wall Me Maybe. I definitely think they have the great potential of going all the way. Although it's gonna be a real test because since we're not seeing anything, it might be a little heavy on the side of No Wonder if he can truly pop off and the team can play with that synergy. So we'll see if he has the stamina to last until the finals.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, next team on the docket here, Hibbs's drafted team of Mad Cow Disease, with I guess listing off the roster here, TV Junkie or TV, Destructive Dude, Evil Light, Kazuki Beans, excuse me, Huckletune, Crystallize, and Mad Cow. AJS, what do you think of this team?
There was a bunch of hype on this team after the draft, but after I settled in a bit, my expectations have gone down a lot on this team. I I mean, obviously this is a batting league draft, so like you never know who's gonna be good and who's gonna be bad. But I'm expecting this team to have a higher chance of finishing in the bottom three than the top three. I'm I don't know. I just a lot of these individual players I'm not as high on as some other people seem to be. And
I don't know, AJS. That's a flaw because them's fighting words. Bottom three instead of top three with that kind of a supporting duo. I might be in the minority, but I
don't
think
think
between
Huckletune is
Kazuki and Huckletune, it's
I
gonna
don't
be
think
No,
nuts.
no,
Huckletune is as
no.
good as people think he is.
Swift here is
Eh.
in the minority because I actually believe they are more or less a top three team. You have TV Junkie, who we know can very much shine on DPS role. Evil Light and probably Mad Cow, I believe, probably fighting for that favored bench off spot. And of course, I think although Kazuki Beans might be handicapped by the fact that she has to deal with coconut internet with with the coconut internet. I think definitely
You don't need Hardline to play support.
no,
Oh
you just
my
need to fend some
god,
coconuts over there.
that is
But
so good.
definitely going in that they have both Huckletune and Kazuki Beans. I think out of a lot of the healers have very good fundamental skills and positional awareness, so they know so they as long as they know how to stay alive and they're not getting picked and they keep their team alive, especially with what's going on in the chaotic non-meta that we really have right now that is Overwatch. I think if they just allow TV Junkie to do his thing, same with Destructive Dude, if they allow
Channel
space for
edited.
TV Junkie to make picks, or even if they're able to work with as a wrecking or not as a wrecking ball, but as a turtling, what's the word I'm looking for? Word me, Joey.
Deathball?
Death ball, that's the word.
Gotcha.
If
I
they're
mean,
able to
I
if they're
could
able to utilize that.
Channel
I
edited.
could totally, see that working out. But something that I kind of do is like one of the many tests that I think of when I look at a team to see how good they're going to be for the season is how good are each of their lead
Channel
players in each
edited.
of their roles. So like the lead player of their DPS is probably TV Junkie, who we saw him as a sub in the BOL last season. He totally annihilated as
Channel
Widow.
edited.
Back when there was a patched roof problem in Blizzard World that he exploited, so that is also a factor. But he was still really good. Destructive Dude, probably the best tank in the league. I mean, definitely contender, hands
Channel
down.
edited.
And then Huckletune, probably one of the best supports in the league. So they have really strong lead performers. It's just that as a cohesive unit, can they gel together and deliver,
Channel edited.
more wins than losses? That's my
Correct.
take on that. I guess.
Correct there, Joey.
Anyone else have any final words?
Yeah, you have the final words on Mad Cow Disease. Swift, I'll give that to you.
I mean, I'm definitely not ruling it out that this team could win. And fortunately, this was a well drafted season. So when I say I'm predicting bottom three, that's a very, very rough prediction. I can easily see this team being the championship team as well. TV, very good. Destructive, very good. Huckletune and Kazuki, if I maybe don't think they're as good as everyone thinks they are, I still think they're going to be pretty damn good players. And like you guys said, there is that chance where they're going to just straight up be the best support duo in the league by a mile, in which case this team is going to be very set going forward.
Dude, that coconut internet, man. It might not be a factor. We don't know yet. But moving off of the mad cow disease, Hibbs's drafted team here. We're going to the bench life of Zach and Cody. Think Twice's team roster of 30 K7 lane Valkyrie.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way,
Chromatic,
Valkyrie.
Thrifty, Dub, Drum, and Checkers. Talk about them, people.
I'm scared to play this team. I hope I don't have to play this team. Emergency put our bench player in. I don't want to go up against 30 and Chromatic.
30 and Chromatic aren't that scary.
Hold on. So let me get this straight, all right? So Chromatic hasn't played in quite some time, trying to be very modest in that, oh, I'm 3,000 plus, even though I was formerly in Masters. His biggest strength right now was Zarya. So I mean, he can still play a good game, but he's out of practice. He's washed up garbage. Same with 30. Used to be a Masters, fell all the way to Diamond. I mean, can you believe this guy? Doesn't like it should just be smurfing on his off time. Retire already.
Yeah, they're washed up to put it lightly. I mean, 30. I don't know what his ranking is. It's not good, probably.
Guys! Stop,
and Chromatic.
No, Joey, you have to stop. I did this last season. I said 30 is a boosted Tracer player who can only play hit scan, and he needs to stop losing games for his teams.
You're
and
not
then
wrong.
I played him in the first week.
You're not
I played
wrong.
him in the first week, and it was like I was playing against 3 different Tracers at the same time. He'll do it to you.
It was my master plan all along, Swift. I'm gonna if I throw him under the bus, he'll rise like a glorious
he will
phoenix.
do this to you. You're my teammates.
Oh my God! Well, you heard it here straight from
right.
the casting couch. Oh my God! Well, hey, enough about those DPS spots because clearly we shouldn't be talking about them that much. The rest of that team, I seriously don't know where anyone else is going except for Valk. Really?
Yeah, there's going to be, I think, a lot of swapping on this team, which they have a very intellectual player in 30 that I think they can come up with some pretty intense plans for swapping roles. So I'm really excited to watch this team because I think they're going to do a bunch of different things. The big question is, can like some of these other players step up? TK Thrifty had a pretty rough season last split. I'm actually predicting he's going to swap over to support for this team. So I do think he's going to win out one of the starting positions. It'll be Killian or Dub Drum on the bench. So I wouldn't be surprised if he turns into a full-time Mercy player, which I think he's actually would do pretty well at, just knowing his skill set.
Let's talk about Checkers though, because there's been a lot of mystery and mystique about this first-time rookie on this team.
Yeah, it's gonna be the only thing potentially holding Thrifty off of being that Mercy one trick is Checkers also has Mercy listed as her top support. She does have the support role listed as a 10, but if you're looking at her top heroes, she only signed up with Mercy and Lucio on that list. So I don't know if she can only play Mercy and Lucio or if she feels pretty confident on some of the other supports. That could be a pretty big deal for this team. But I'm kind of predicting that her and TK Thrifty will end up supporting. She says she's been over 3,000, so if she can get back into that form, a $1.75 player going to be a huge steal.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's that rookie value, man. Like all rookies are always undervalued. You don't know what you're going to get. If they're going to play for the season, if they're not going to play for the season, are they going to show up, be in practice, not even show up for the second game moving forward? It's a gamble.
It is very much a gamble, but you know what? You get what you pay for it in the draft.
All right, final words on the bench life. Yeah, that's boring. That's a boring team anyway.
I definitely want to see the write-ups in the script for the for who gets benched between Killian and Dub Drum.
Ooh.
My prediction is that Dub Drum is going to play the first 2 weeks before Killian takes over for the rest of the season.
Oh.
I could see. I mean, if Killian can, he's got that competitive fire in him. He's going to cram a bunch of games in after he realizes he's on the bench, and then he'll. Yeah, I think that's a good outlook.
I had a chance to talk with Killian before the season started. I think he's in a very good place going into this league as a low-level addition. And just knowing the type of person he is, I think it's going to be really fun to have him in the BOL. He's a really fun guy to have around. And I'm really excited to watch him hopefully learn this game.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's keep moving on, and it should be all blab and no dab. Thor's
All
team.
dabs, no blab.
All blab. No, no. I'm pretty sure it's
Dude,
all blab and no dab.
No, it's all dab, no blab. There's no blab on that team. Why would you call
yeah,
it the
What?
reverse?
Whoa! Are you telling me Blabur is not on the team
Lure
above
is not on that
Blabur
team, but
is
most of the
out.
dabs are. That team was drafted by Thor, a member of our reigning champions, Blabby's Dabs. He picked up his superstar DPS duo, Freefi and Senpai, members of aforementioned Blabby's Dabs. Also, Sword and Mace, member of Blabby's Dabs. That's a lot of the dab. Four
Pendry
of
too,
the
I think.
seven.
Yeah,
No.
Wasn't Pendry on there?
No.
Well, never mind. Either way, that DPS duo is literally what nightmares are made out of. This is going to be a rough season against those two. I mean, if 30 and Chromatic can, if 30 can get out of silver or gold or bronze or wood tier, whatever he's in, they might be scary. Freefi and Senpai don't need to practice. They're going to be scary.
Yes, but Freefi and Senpai are going to have to be even scarier than they were last season. I think initially, like after the draft, I was all, oh my god, Freefi, Free Pie, how are we going to handle this for a second season? But the more I look at it, I think up and down the rest of this roster, so you've got the Mighty Wolf, your Pendry, Sword and Mace, Spagooter, and Scarlet. I think they are worse at every single other position than Blabby's Dabs was. And it's not, Blabby's Dabs, they were definitely the best team, but it wasn't like there was no chance of beating them last season. They had some very close competitive games and maps. And now Freefi and Senpai are going to have to carry, I think, a lot harder than they did last season to continue winning. I am a lot less scared of this team than I was a week ago.
I mean, I think they're going to. I really don't know what to expect because that second tank slot, who's going to take that? I mean, Wolf, Pendry, Sword and Mace, Scarlet, Spagooter. We know is going to get one of them. Sword and Mace mainly healing person. Same with Wolf. He played a healer last season. Pendry, I just remember was a sim main on someone's team.
Yeah, looking at the
That 2
signups,
seasons ago.
your Pendry did have tank and flex as his top two positions, so I assume it's going to be him and Spagooter playing tank full time.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, with that healing duo, Mighty Wolf, he'll put in the reps and he'll do well. I think some people voted him as a really underrated player. Wasn't that you, Utech?
That was definitely me. I am singing his praises high, and if hopefully I am not proven wrong, because I still think he's a very, very well mechanically skilled player, but he just needs to work on that positioning and put in the grind of the game just to understand it a little bit more. And if he's able to really show up as Zenyatta, especially since not many people in the league know how to play it, like that can be super huge for a team.
Oh yeah, and he is pretty spot on with his Zenyatta play, good at calling out orbs and all that stuff. Having played on a team with him, Sword and Mace, a member of the Blabby's Dabs from last season, also a great healer who's able to do all sorts of work as Lucio. I think the only question mark in my head is just that tank lineup.
All right. Final thoughts on all dab no blab.
Nah, check it off the list. Let's go to the next team. 3 Dans, 1 cup. Something tells me this name isn't proper. Apparently I heard there's only 2 Dans on that team.
I heard the same thing, and they are lying. They should probably change it to 2 Dans, 1 cup.
Somebody buy XX Salt a name change.
So definitely what's going to happen is you're going to have to pay the league $60 for that name change. You can get it by donating it to the Twitch, or if you want to, I will list out my PayPal donation button, and you can give that to me directly.
Well, hot damn.
But yeah, looking at this team, 3 Dans, 1 cup, Josh Danko, Dano, Heron, Zedekis, Cuban Pete, Cruise Master, and the man allegedly called Dirty Dan.
Allegedly.
I mean, I'll go straight to the point. I have severe concerns about this team, more than any other team in the league. I'm really, really worried. To me, you took the team, Jeff from the Overwatch team from last season, replaced the only person that was able to help Josh Danko carry, and their bottom half isn't going to be just the dumpster fire that it was last season, but I think like Zedekis and Cruise Master aren't that substantial of steps up over some of the players they were with. And I don't know how Josh can carry this team that's so similar to the team he couldn't carry last season. I think it's just too much on his plate.
So I agree with that in a very big sense, but I think the only hope uh, of this team making, doing work and putting other teams in their place is Danko and Dano. Those are kind of the two foundational keystones, the two most expensive players on that team that need to find where they belong. Dano having played like, I don't know, 27 million and a half of the heroes that exist last season and doing really well in all of them. And Danko also being that tank DPS flex who he does work wherever he is and plays Doomfist when you don't want him to. But that doesn't matter. It matters that their mechanical skills all there. The only problem with Jeff from the Overwatch team from last season was, I shouldn't say the only problem, but one of the bigger problems is that there was not a cohesive.
The only problem is everything, Joey.
Okay. Bigger problem. Step one, fundamentals. You got to make sure your team knows what they're doing, where they're going, and how they're going to manage to do it. And I think that was missing from Jeff from the Overwatch team last season. And this, at its core, does look like a Jeff from the Overwatch team. So at the end of the day, they gotta work on comms. They're probably the team that will benefit the most from practicing together. And good luck, Dano and Danko and crew. I don't know. What do you think?
You want my opinion on it?
Utech,
I think they're going to have to put Josh Danko in a DPS role. Not saying that Heron can't carry it by himself, but what I'm saying is that if you add that extra stopping power to allow, because if it's one of those things where they put everything on Heron, they're able to just focus down Heron. Then you don't really have. I don't know who else out of that team is really going to be stepping it up as a DPS player. So if they have both of them, if they're one of them's able to, I know Heron really likes running that projectile DPS or McCree, and then they have Danko running on something. I mean, even if he stays on the Zarya or if he's able to even pull out the Doomfist, taking off. Even if they run a single tank do triple DPS, I think if they run it correctly, they can go out with quite a few victories. But I definitely I have to agree with you guys. I don't it's going to be a very, very uphill battle.
Yeah, to add a little bit more to that too, the bottom floor of that team is Swift mentioned earlier, and Zedekiss, Dirty Dan, as far as we know, Cruise Master, and Cuban Pete. That is compared to the average skill level of the team. Zedekiss doesn't play too much. Cuban Pete does play a lot. He knows the game pretty well. Cruise Master doesn't play a lot. Dirty Dan, the rookie coming in, who went for 0. It depends on how much all of those members can improve. If that determines whether or not Jeff from the Overwatch team is going to be a top 3 or even a playoff team, in my opinion. Also, I must add, at the very end of this, I'm slashing Heron's tires and burning his house down.
Can't argue with that.
Nope, sound logic to me. So I think that was great final words on 3 Dance 1 Cup. And let's happen to the final team, Wang's team. Every single goddamn caster in the goddamn league, we have the casting couch.
Yeah.
So Utech, Hook Resets, Albinojoe, Spoopy Koopa, myself, Splinter, and Salvo. 4 of the 6 primary casters for this league, all on one couch together. I hope you guys appreciate how much this absolutely has destroyed our production plans for the season. Because our other 2 primary casters are on a team together as well. So we haven't figured out what the plan is when our team plays the team with 30 and Thrifty yet. We're going to figure that out when we get there. But this is just one of those situations that you never thought would happen, and it did.
So it has been scripted that we cannot actually win the finals because we need the talent to actually cast the game. So good on everybody else. You've automatically jumped in value.
Well, hey, also to note, AJS0, he voluntarily benched himself for the game against the bench life of Zach and Cody. So we have one caster there. If AJS is benched, we just got to get 30 or Thrifty benched after that, and then we got a casting crew, right?
That sounds like a plan.
We could have a gentleman's agreement. Wait, it was have I'll get benched and then 30 gets benched.
I'll take that
Okay.
trade too. Yeah, we've got a lot of ways we can sell this, but as far as the team itself goes, play wise, the obvious concern that anyone that looks at this team is going to have is, who is playing DPS alongside hook resets, and can hook resets be the consistent full time DPS player? I think those are reasonable concerns for people to have. But I think the tanking and the healing is going to be so good for this team that a lot of it's going to balance itself out.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun. I was gonna say it's kind of fun to have about half the team just kind of talking about our own team. Utech, a powerhouse of a tank, proving that probably Destructive Dude is the only possible contender. Utech, you're in frickin' Masters, so I say
I'm
that
not in Masters yet.
close enough. Close enough. Utech, powerhouse tank, don't give a fuck. Spoopy Koopa, last season showing up as well. Then you got, our healing duo in me and AJS0 who do all sorts of work on all sorts of champions. We can cover everything that we need to cover between the two of us very, very well. I would say that we are probably better than Kazuki and Huckletune on paper, in my opinion. Then the DPS, as you said, the question is, can they deliver? And hook resets, very good. When he's on fire, he's on fucking fire. I think we got a crew to back that up for the whole entire season. And then second DPS spot, Splinter or Salvo, they're going to be fighting for that. I want them to fight for that. Let's put it that way.
Hopefully one of them gets good. Our team depends on it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna go full Josh Danko and play Doomfist for the rest of the season.
No.
I'm taking my tips from you, Josh Danko. You're my hero.
No, the
My
monkey.
hero,
We
Josh
need
Danko.
the monkey.
I can make it.
No.
I can make it as a Doomfist main.
Ugh. Okay, enough of that. Hey, I guess any actual final remarks on Casting Couch?
See you in the finals.
Speak now and forever hold your peace. One last thing I want to talk about is we have one set of power rankings that matter that have been put out for the world to see. Heron, name rankings. Casting Couch. Of course that's going to be on top. I mean, what beats that? Nothing, right?
Cast Couch is definitely the best
It's
name
a little
out
too
of the league.
fitting.
Too fitting. And then 3 Dans,
Wait.
1 Cup. Second. I think that's a good spot for that, right?
I mean, it actually has 2 Dans, so 2 second makes sense.
Ooh. 23 Dans? I don't know. Anyway, all dab, no blab. That's a pretty solid team.
I love that team, man. That's my favorite of the teams that's not Casting Couch this season.
That'd be your number 2, AJS?
Easy. It's just it fits, man. They got almost all the dab. They just didn't get any of the blab. Like, come on.
Way too fitting. Number 4, Walmy, maybe.
For a song that came out in 2012, I mean, it's still being named today, I suppose. I don't know.
It's relevant. Kinda.
We can give it that.
Number 5 on Heron's only list that matters, the bench life of Zach and Cody. I don't know if I like that one personally. I'd put that 6 in my head. Sorry, guys. And then lastly, Mad Cow Disease. What do you guys think of that one?
I think they could have been a little bit more creative. Maybe if they said SARS.
What? Mad Cow SARS.
Can't argue with that. So, I think that's gonna wrap things up for pregame. We've got about a minute here till we're scheduled to go live with games, and we have to go get ready. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. We had some pretty solid viewers for this pregame show. Apparently, we are super excited to welcome everyone back to the BOL for hopefully another great season, because the last season was fantastic, and I think this season will be as well. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in game in a moment.